Here they go for this Grade 1 prize, won in the last 2 years by Sprinter Sacre and Finian's Rainbow. So hard acts to follow here. Days Hotel and Rolling Aces in the air together at the first. Ballynagour was the last to land. Rathlin in the white cap, the white-faced Rathlin is very handy, and the mare Pepite Rose is on the outside in the yellow jacket as they move on towards the second. Then French Opera in the dark blue silks crossing this one ahead of Wishful Thinking. Tonnerre Duderie in the maroon cap, same ownership as Rathlin. Boston Bob further back with Rajdhani Express in the orange sleeves, and finally Ballynagour as they clear an open ditch, and Boston Bob was a bit slow over that fence. On now to the fourth, and Rolling Aces taking over under Nick Schofield going to this one with Rathlin right alongside on landing. Pepite Rose is close up, and Days Hotel on the near side just going third ahead of Pepite Rose. French Opera in fifth place, got very warm indeed, French Opera, before the race. Wishful Thinking is on his inside, and then Tonnerre Duderie towards the back of the field as they head towards the cross fence alongside Rajdhani Express, Ballynagour, and Boston Bob is the trailer taking the cross fence, and they're all safely over. So about to swing into the home straight for the first time in this 2.5 mile test, and Rolling Aces and Rathlin are clear by about 4 lengths over Days Hotel in third. On the inside of Pepite Rose, French Opera, Wishful Thinking on the far side, and then Rajdhani Express and Sam Whaley Cohen, and Rathlin put in the better jump of the two leaders there. And this big strong horse strides into the lead now and goes 2 or 3 lengths clear of Rolling Aces heading towards this open ditch. Rathlin comes in to take it efficiently over, 4 or 5 lengths clear on landing of Rolling Aces. Days Hotel, Wishful Thinking on the far side, who was second to Finian's Rainbow in this race a couple of years ago. Rajdhani Express, French Opera, Pepite Rose, Boston Bob, Ballynagour, Tonnerre Duderie. The chasing pack very tightly grouped together, but it's Rathlin out clear at the fence in front of the stands. All safely over, but Boston Bob again just a bit slow in the rear for Paul Townend. And so up front of the stands with a circuit left to cover, and Rathlin is pressing on here. Rathlin and Brian O'Connell will be wearing these colours aboard Quito de la Roque in the Crabbies Grand National tomorrow. Days Hotel and Rolling Aces disputing second. The leader coming back to the field somewhat. Pepite Rose is out wide of Rajdhani Express, Wishful Thinking, French Opera, Ballynagour still held up by Tom Scudamore, then Tonnerre Duderie second last, and finally Boston Bob. At this next plain fence, the first down the back, Rathlin got it a bit wrong in front there. Rolling Aces drawing closer on landing. Pepite Rose towards the outside. Rajdhani Express is definitely getting closer in those orange sleeves. Days Hotel still handy on the near side. At the next plain one, Rathlin over in front by 2 or 3 lengths. At the back, Boston Bob is still last. Wishful Thinking was shaken up on landing there by Richard Johnson. Now an open ditch, 6 out. Rathlin, Rolling Aces, Pepite Rose still sailing along down the back straight from Days Hotel in fourth. In fifth, Rajdhani Express. Ballynagour is definitely getting a bit closer now as they jump the last in the back, followed by Tonnerre Duderie. Then Wishful Thinking, hard driven. Boston Bob is towards the back, and French Opera. So swinging out of the back straight now and heading towards 4 out the cross fence once again. Rathlin has been on the sharp end all the way, tracked through by Pepite Rose, the recent Newbury winner. In second place, Aidan Coleman aboard. Rolling Aces is third. Rajdhani Express and Ballynagour over this one, followed by Days Hotel. Tonnerre Duderie was slightly hampered on landing there from Wishful Thinking, and then Boston Bob and French Opera. So lots of chances then as they swing the final corner. 3 fences left to jump. Rathlin is the target for them all here. Rolling Aces, Pepite Rose on the outside. Rajdhani Express. This is 3 out. Rathlin over in front. Pepite Rose is challenging. So too Rolling Aces on the far side. Almost 3 in a line now as they head to the final open ditch. Ballynagour still going well in fourth place. Here's 2 out. Rathlin joined by Pepite Rose, Rolling Aces. Ballynagour coming there powerfully on the near side. Tom Scudamore hasn't gone for him yet. Then in behind them, Boston Bob is running on straight. strongly. Rejdani Express and Tonnerre de Degree, and we've got a bunch finish here going to the last. Ballynagour, Rolling Aces, Boston Bob has come through really powerfully on the far side and just about led at the last but missed out, and Rolling Aces the better of it at the last. Rolling Aces and Boston Bob with a head down drive now inside the final 50 and scores. It's Boston Bob and Paul Townend who takes the Melling Chase. In second, Rolling Aces. Ballynagour just a little bit of a weak finisher there, followed by Rathlin, Tonnerre de Degree, Papite Rose, Rejdani Express, Wishful Thinking, French Opera and Days Hotel. Well, Boston Bob, who fell at the last when leading in the RSA chase at Cheltenham last season, if he could get the jumping sorting out, this horse would be a superstar, but he takes a long time to get from A to B over the fences, but boy, he does stay, and he's a fine galloper.
First time that Willie Mullins has won the Betfred Melling Chase, and a good success for Paul Townend, who's coming back from a shoulder injury, but your hearts were in your mouths if you'd backed Boston Bob as he came to the last, because he didn't meet it great, Mick, did he? And it rather took his momentum away.
But, you know, I think this goes back to when this horse looked like he had the RSA at his mercy. Paul Townend asked him for a big one and he put down, and Paul had that in the back of his head. He's saying, right, okay, let's just pop this, get over it. I know I've got enough horse underneath me to pick these off when I land. That's exactly what he's done. See him when he goes by the line, what it means to him. When you're in a position where you're taking over from somebody like Ruby Walsh, you need to perform on the big stage, and this is the big stage.
We ran a feature on the owner Graham Wiley and Andrea Wiley